There comes a time in every life when the silence breaks, or the long nights of prayer, the lonely questions, the aching dreams, finally receive an answer. And not just any answer, but a name whispered by God, a name written in the unseen, a name meant for you. You are the chosen one, not because you were louder, more visible, or more perfect, but because your spirit was tuned to something higher than the noise of the world. You've felt it your whole life, that quiet separation, that sacred loneliness, that feeling of being set apart. While others rushed into relationships just to fill the void, you stood still, willing to wait. While others bowed to pressure, you chose purpose over popularity. You weren't trying to be better, you were simply being obedient. You didn't chase every opportunity or person that came your way because deep down you knew you were chosen for something greater. You may have looked around and wondered, why am I still alone? Or why hasn't my name been called? But being chosen doesn't always mean being celebrated. Sometimes it means being hidden for a time. God often hides what he values most. Like a jeweler tucking away his rarest diamond, heaven shielded you from hands that couldn't handle you, minds that couldn't understand you, and hearts that couldn't keep you. You weren't rejected, you were reserved. There were times you almost gave in, times you nearly settled because the silence was heavy and the waiting felt like punishment. But somewhere inside you, the fire never died. You knew you were made for more. You knew your love wasn't ordinary, your loyalty wasn't casual, your commitment wasn't shallow, and that's why God kept you, for someone who can match your depth, your intensity, your vision. The world made you feel ache. Culture said your timeline was off. Friends married, divorced, remarried, and you still waited. But now you're beginning to see what God was doing. He wasn't delaying you. He was developing you. He was refining your discernment, deepening your spirit, sharpening your intuition. You weren't waiting in vain. You were waiting for divine alignment, because now something has shifted. In your spirit, you sense it. A name, a soul, a connection that doesn't come from dating apps or chance encounters, but from heaven itself. This is what it feels like when God begins to whisper. This is what it means to be chosen, not just to receive, but to recognize the sacred when it arrives. And that's why the world doesn't need to understand you. That's why people who couldn't see your value don't get a seat at your next table. You're not arrogant. You're anointed. You're not unavailable. You're accounted for in heaven. When God chooses someone, he doesn't consult popular opinion. He doesn't need to validate your journey to people who weren't called to walk it. Your steps have been ordered, even when they felt uncertain. Your tears were counted, even when they fell in silence. Your prayers weren't ignored. They were recorded, waiting for this moment to be fulfilled. And this moment is here. God has chosen you, and he's chosen someone for you. Not based on your past, not based on your pain, but based on his promise. A younger soul is being sent, not because you are lacking, but because together you form the full picture of what God has planned. You bring experience, they bring energy. You bring patience, they bring passion. You bring wisdom, they bring wonder. You are not mismatched. You are divinely balanced. Your worth was never up for debate. Your season wasn't a mistake. and your waiting wasn't wasted. You've been walking in integrity when it wasn't popular. You've been loving in silence when no one saw it. You've been holding on to faith when others gave up. That's what chosen ones do. They walk unseen until the moment God says now. They walk unseen alongside. The walk is told on the earth, not to confuse you, but to confirm you, not to tease you, but to teach you that faith is never foolish when it's placed in me. You didn't miss your moment. You were being preserved for it. So now, walk boldly, not arrogantly, but confidently. Walk knowing you are a son, a daughter of the King. Walk knowing your story is not behind, it's unfolding. Walk knowing that everything that left was making room for the one that's being set. You were not forgotten, you were not passed over, you were not too much. You were simply too chosen to be rushed. And now the promise is arriving, carrying the name Heaven Revealed, just for you. When God reveals a name, it is not a casual moment. It is a sacred one. It doesn't happen in noise. It doesn't happen in chaos. It happens in the stillness, in the secret place, in the deep chambers of your spirit, where only heaven can speak. And when he speaks a name to you, it is not imagination, it is not fantasy. It is revelation. It is God trusting you with a glimpse of his divine plan, not because you're flawless, but because you're spiritually ready to receive what others would miss you. God doesn't reveal names to those who chase attention. He doesn't hand out revelations to satisfy curiosity. He speaks to those who have consecrated their hearts, and silenced their flesh, and surrendered their timelines. If you've heard a name in your spirit, if God has placed a person so deeply in your heart that you cannot shake it, not in obsession, but in holy awareness, then understand you are standing on sacred ground. Many want to hear from God, but few are willing to go where he speaks. Fasting, praying, waiting, obeying, these aren't old rituals. These are the keys to clarity. God doesn't shout. He whispers, and only those close enough can hear. When your spirit becomes uncluttered by the world's noise, when your identity is no longer tied to external validation, when your love for God becomes deeper than your fear of rejection, that's when you begin to hear clearly. A revealed name is not a command, it is a confirmation. It's not God forcing a relationship, it's God showing you the next piece of your destiny. And that's why it must be stewarded with reverence. When God whispers someone's name to you, it's not your cue to rush into their life. It's your invitation to pray, to listen, to discern, and to wait. Because revelation without maturity leads to assumption, and assumption destroys what God intended to build. The name you heard, don't idolize it. Don't make it the center of your world. Make God the center, and he will guide you into alignment. Because even when God reveals a name, timing is still everything. He may show you the person, but not give you the green light yet. Why? Because your heart may still need refining, or their heart may still need healing, or both of you may be in the process of becoming the people you're meant to be when you meet. Sometimes God reveals a name early, not to start a relationship, but to prepare your spirit, to soften your heart, to stretch your patience, to teach you how to intercede for someone you haven't even spoken to yet. You might think you're waiting to be pursued or approached, but you're actually in a season of quiet warfare, covering that person in prayer, breaking generational cycles before they step into your life, canceling confusion and distraction off their path, even if they don't know your name yet. This is not fantasy, it's faith in motion. When God reveals a name, it's because he sees something in you that's ready to carry it with purity. He trusts you not to manipulate the outcome. He trusts you not to gossip or compare. He trusts you to protect it like a seed watered with obedience, not control. And that's where many get it wrong. They take revelation and turn it into obsession. They stop listening and start scheming. But love from heaven doesn't grow through striving. It grows through surrender. When the name is real, when it's truly God-ordained, you don't have to force your way into their life. You just need to remain in alignment and let God do what only he can do. There will be tests, moments when doubt creeps in and you ask, did I really hear that? But if it's God, the name won't haunt you. It will humble you. It won't cause confusion. It will call you deeper into his presence. And even if nothing makes sense on the outside, your spirit will carry peace that doesn't match your circumstances. That peace is your compass. Follow it. Stay anchored in it. You may not understand why God revealed that particular name. Maybe the person seems far off. Maybe they're younger. Maybe they're on a different path right now. But remember, God doesn't show you potential that already exists. He shows you what he's about to do. You don't need to figure it all out. You just need to be faithful with the revelation. The enemy would love for you to mishandle it, to chase the person prematurely, to idolize the promise and ignore the promise giver. But when you stay rooted in discernment, when your prayer life becomes stronger than your feelings, you'll see what others miss. You'll understand that when God reveals a name, you're not just showing you your future spouse. He's inviting you to become the person who's ready to meet them. So don't take it lightly. Don't run ahead. Don't announce it to the world. Treasure it. Guard it. Let God unfold it. Because if he was faithful to reveal it, he will be faithful to fulfill it. A younger soul being sent to marry you is not a mistake. It's not random. It's not something to be feared or judged. It's something to be understood spiritually. Because when God writes a love story, he does not consult cultural expectations or public opinion. He moves according to divine timing, divine purpose, and divine wisdom. He sees the end from the beginning. He knows exactly what kind of partner you need, not just to make you happy, but to help you complete the assignment he gave you. Age is just a number, but spirit is eternal. The soul being sent you may be younger in years, but they are not behind you in destiny. They are not immature in purpose. They are not lesser in value. They are simply arriving in your life at the perfect moment when your strengths meet their energy, when your depth meets their energy, when your depth meets their hunger. His soul has been handpicked by heaven to walk with you, not in competition, not in confusion, but in completion. They bring a freshness your spirit has been longing for, a renewal you didn't even know you needed. While you carry the scars of your battles, they carry the eagerness of someone ready to fight alongside you, not from experience, but from fire, from passion, from divine alignment. And that alignment is what matters more than anything else. People may look at the age difference and question it. They may whisper, criticize, or make assumptions. But what they don't see is the spiritual infrastructure behind your connection. They don't see the years you've spent alone, learning, growing, praying. They don't see the tears, the crushing, the refining. They don't understand that you weren't just waiting for love, you were being molded for purposeful partnership. This younger soul is not coming to be led blindly. They're coming with vision too. They may not have your years of experience, but they have a willing heart, a listening spirit, and a bold desire to grow. That's more powerful than any number. They aren't intimidated by your strength. They are inspired by it. They aren't trying to replace your journey. They're ready to honor it. In fact, God often uses the unexpected to reveal the extraordinary. Throughout Scripture, we see younger people rise into divine positions, not because of age, but because of calling. David was young when he killed Goliath. Esther was young when she saved a nation. Timothy was young when Paul told him, "Let no one despise you for your youth." Age is not a barrier in the kingdom. It's only a barrier to those stuck in the mindset of this world. You are not settling. You are being sent someone who matches your mission, someone who sees you not as a project, but as a partner, someone who honors your past, but is not bound by it, someone who looks at your calling and says, "Let's build together." That is divine. That is rare. That is holy. And maybe, just maybe, this younger soul is God's way of giving you a fresh start, a new chapter, a season where you're no longer carrying the relationship on your own, but finally being met with the kind of intentionality you've always given. They may be younger, but their love is mature. Their pursuit is focused. Their vision is clear. You don't need to explain it to everyone. You don't need to defend it. You just need to discern it. When something is from God, it comes with peace, not without challenges, but with clarity. When you talk to them, something in your spirit settles. When you dream about the future, something inside of you stirs. That's the Holy Spirit confirming what your logic can't explain. Let go of the fear. Let go of the stigma. Let go of the internal doubts telling you it's too different, too strange, too unexpected. Heaven's blessings rarely fit earth's expectations. What matters is that this soul is being sent with divine purpose. You don't need a duplicate of yourself. You need a divinely compatible partner. This person will not complete you. That's God's job. But they will complement your spirit in a way no one else has. Their youth isn't a weakness. It's a weapon. They're coming with fresh fire, fresh faith, and fresh perspective. They won't drag you back. They'll push you forward. And when the two of you come together, it won't look ordinary. It won't make sense to everyone. But it will be powerful. It will be anointed. It will be bigger than romance. It will be revival. Two souls, different in age, but united in assignment. Two hearts, beating with one divine rhythm. Two people, chosen not because they fit each other's checklists, but because they fit God's heavenly plan. So prepare your heart. Don't block the blessing because it doesn't look like what you imagined. Be open. Be discerning. Be obedient. A younger soul is being sent, not to confuse you, but to complete your purpose. They're not too young. They're just in time. Union is not about temporary emotions or surface-level attraction. It is about divine purpose. What God is putting together in your life is bigger than butterflies, bigger than passion, and even bigger than compatibility. This union has been designed in heaven, and it is coming to earth not just to make you feel loved, but to help you fulfill the assignment on your life. It is strategic, it is spiritual, it is sacred. When God sends someone to marry you, he is not just sending a companion. He is sending a partner in destiny. This is not just someone to enjoy sunsets and slow songs with. This is someone who will stand in prayer with you when the world is against you. Someone who will cover you when life tries to break you. Someone who understands that love is not about ease, it's about alignment. The world teaches us to chase chemistry, but heaven teaches us to seek covenant. Chemistry may excite you, but covenant will keep you. Passion may bring you together, but purpose will hold you when passion fades. God knows you don't just need a lover, you need a fighter. Someone who is ready to battle beside you, not blame you. Someone who sees your flaws and still chooses you. Someone who isn't afraid of your calling, your pain, or your potential. This union isn't just going to bless you, it's going to bless others. It's going to be a living testimony. People will look at your marriage and see the fingerprints of God. They'll see grace, unity, and strength, not because you'll be perfect, but because your connection was built on obedience. And that's what makes it so powerful. You weren't looking for comfort. You were waiting for calling. You didn't settle for good enough. You waited for God's best. And now, he's sending someone who is not intimidated by your anointing, but inspired by it. They're not trying to dim your light. They want to shine with you. This person is not coming to compete with you. They're coming to complete the mission with you. They will see beyond your smile and into your soul. They will speak life into your fears and hope into your doubts. When you grow weary, they will lift your arms. When you forget who you are, they will remind you. This isn't a fairy tale. It's a faith walk. It's not about perfection. It's about purpose. And purpose doesn't always look pretty. It involves trials, refining, growth, and warfare. But when the person beside you is divinely assigned, those battles won't break you. They will build you. You'll walk through the fire, but you won't walk alone. You'll feel the weight of your assignment, but you'll also feel the strength of their support. That's what happens when the relationship is rooted in God. You don't collapse. You rise together. This marriage won't be built on what the world calls success. It will be built on surrender. The two of you will wake up and choose each other every day, not just because of feelings, but because of faith. Because you both know this isn't about what you want. It's about what heaven needs. There are lives connected to your yes. There are souls depending on your obedience. There are generations that will shift because you dared to wait for a God-ordained connection. They won't be perfect. You won't be either. But together you'll be powerful. Together you'll be intentional. Together you create a space where love is sacred, where trust is protected, and where God is always at the center. You won't need to pretend. You won't need to perform. You'll just need to partner in purpose, day by day, step by step. This union will unlock the next dimension of your calling. They'll speak into your dreams, stretch your vision, and push you to places you would have never gone alone. You won't lose yourself in the relationship. You'll find the version of you that only partnership could activate. And they will find theirs too. You will both grow, spiritually, emotionally, and purposefully. because God is using this connection to do more than just satisfy your heart. He's using it to advance his kingdom. You waited for a reason. You endured the lowliness for a purpose. You cried for nights you didn't understand, but God understood. He was preparing both of you, protecting both of you, molding both of you into vessels that could hold the weight of what's coming. And now the wait wasn't in vain. The pain had a point. The silence had a sound. Heaven was speaking, shaping, and aligning. And now here it is. Not just love, but legacy. Not just romance, but responsibility. Not just chemistry, but covenant. What you're stepping into is not ordinary. It is holy ground. Treat it with honor. Nurture it with prayer. Protect it with discernment. Because when God sends someone not just to love you, but to build with you, to pray with you, to war with you, and to worship beside you, you're not entering a relationship. You're stepping into a divine assignment. This is what you waited for. This is what was promised. And this is what heaven is now unfolding, because you were willing to wait for purpose over passion, for calling over comfort, and for God's will over your own desire. When you are the chosen one, sent into the world for a divine purpose, you will never fit in. And that is by design. You are not created to blend in with the crowd. You are not called to echo the voices of culture or conform to the patterns of this world. You are set apart. You are marked. And because of that, your life will always feel different, uncomfortable, misunderstood, and sometimes even lonely. But make no mistake, your isolation is not punishment. It is preparation. From a young age, you may have felt like an outsider, like your spirit just didn't align with what others called normal. While they chased trends, you chased truth. While they fit into circles, you stood at the edges, watching, discerning, waiting. That wasn't because you lacked something. It was because you carried something. Something sacred. Something heavy. Something heaven. Assigned to you and only you. Chosen ones are often hidden for a season. Before David wore a crown, he was tending sheep, unseen, underestimated, and overlooked. Before Esther entered the palace, she lived in obscurity, preparing in silence. Before Jesus stepped into his public ministry, he fasted alone in the wilderness. You see, when you are chosen, your path is not crowded, it is carved. God does not rush chosen ones. He refines them. He cuts away the distractions. He closes doors that others walk through easily. He removes people who can't carry the weight of your calling. And yes, it hurts. Yes, it confuses you. You wonder why your life feels so restricted, why you can't do what others do or settle for what others settle for. It's because your anointing requires a different kind of discipline. When you are chosen, you are held to a higher standard, not because you are better than others, but because your mission is heavier than most. You can't entertain every relationship. You can't follow every trend. You can't compromise on what God told you in secret just to gain approval in public. Your life is not your own. You belong to a purpose greater than your preferences. And here's the thing. Your difference will offend some people. Your light will irritate those still in darkness. Your standards will make others uncomfortable. You won't always be celebrated. Sometimes you'll be rejected, not because of who you are, but because of what you carry. But that rejection is often redirection. Every no that wounded you was really a yes from heaven, protecting you from people and places that couldn't handle your calling. So when people walk away, let them. When doors close, bless them. When you're misunderstood, remain silent and stay faithful. God is not interested in popularity. He's interested in purity. And the more you walk in your anointing, the more uncomfortable the world will become. But don't dim your light to make others feel at ease. Don't shrink your dreams to match their expectations. You weren't sent to fit in. You were sent to shift the atmosphere. Being chosen means you're on assignment. Every battle, every delay, every closed door, it was never random. It was training. God has been shaping your character, purifying your motives, and strengthening your discernment, because what he's about to release through you is too valuable to be placed in unprepared hands. He didn't forget about you. He's just making sure when he elevates you, you won't collapse under the weight of the blessing. Yes, the process is painful. Yes, the waiting is long. But chosen ones don't live for comfort, they live for calling. And the ones God uses the most are the ones he isolates the longest. Why? Because solitude sharpens your spirit. It teaches you to hear his voice when no one else is around. It forces you to build a relationship with God that is unshakable. Not based on emotion, but on conviction. And in that quiet place, something shifts. You begin to realize that not fitting in was never a flaw. It was your mark of distinction. That your tears were not wasted. They were watering the seeds of destiny. That your frustration wasn't failure. It was formation. You weren't losing. You were being positioned for the right time, for the right people, for the right place. When you finally meet the person God has sent, when that younger soul, that divine partner arrives, they will not be confused by your difference. They will recognize it. They will honor it. They will say, I see you, not just for your achievements, but for your resilience, for your purity, for your unwavering commitment to walk a narrow road. They won't try to change you. They will walk beside you. And in that union, you will understand why you never fit in, why the road was so hard, why the nights were so long. It was because you were not just waiting for love. You were being prepared for legacy, for ministry, for impact. You were being molded into a vessel that could carry the weight of both purpose and partnership. So don't be ashamed of your difference. Celebrate it. Protect it. Walk in it with boldness, because you weren't sent here to fit in. You were sent to lead, to inspire, to break chains, and to reveal heaven on earth. You are chosen, and chosen ones don't follow, they blaze trails. There is a shift coming into your life, a shift so profound that it won't just change your relationship status, it will transform your identity, your confidence, and your purpose. When God reveals who your partner is, when he identifies the younger soul sent to marry you, something in your spirit will awaken. Not because they complete you, but because they were designed to align with your destiny. And that alignment brings clarity, peace, and a sense of divine timing that no human explanation can fully capture. This is not an ordinary connection. This is not just a romantic moment. This is a prophetic unveiling, a spiritual confirmation that what you've been waiting for, praying for, and even suffering for is finally manifesting. It's not just that you'll know who they are, it's that you will begin to know who you are in a way you never could before. Because the right person doesn't just love you, they reveal you. Not the you you pretend to be, not the you you've been surviving as, but the real, God-ordained, purpose-filled, power-carrying version of you. You'll walk differently when you realize that heaven is backing your relationship. You'll talk differently, think differently, and dream differently. Because now you're not just hoping for love, you're walking in it. Not the kind of love that fades when it's tested, but the kind that endures because it was spoken by God. It's the kind of love that doesn't ask you to shrink, but invites you to expand into your full potential. And with this revelation comes responsibility. God doesn't reveal things for entertainment. He reveals them for alignment. When he shows you who your person is, he's also showing you the next dimension of your assignment. This isn't just about romance. It's about readiness. God is saying, now that you know, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you steward it? Will you protect it? Will you grow with it? Because knowing who someone is spiritually does not mean the journey will be without challenges. If anything, revelation often comes with resistance. The enemy always attacks what God has approved. So don't be surprised if after the revelation you're met with doubts, distractions, or delays. That doesn't mean the connection isn't real. It means it's important. It means it's worth fighting for. And that's where your discernment must rise. This person will reflect parts of you back to yourself that you've forgotten. They'll affirm your strengths, but they'll also challenge your comfort zones. They won't idolize you, but they will honor you. And that honor will feel healing in ways you didn't expect. Because it's not flattery, it's recognition. They see you not just for who you've been, but for who you are becoming. They are not intimidated by your growth. They are invested in it. There's a certain boldness that comes when you know God is in your relationship. It's not arrogance, it's assurance. You stop second-guessing everything. You stop entertaining counterfeits. You stop tolerating confusion. You start protecting your peace. Because you realize what you have is rare, holy, and worth guarding. You start building, praying, planning, not just for yourselves, but for the legacy you're creating together. And that's the beauty of divine revelation. It doesn't just shift your heart, it shifts your habits. You become more disciplined, more focused. You no longer waste energy on what doesn't feed your future. You prioritize growth because now you're growing with someone, not just for yourself. Your prayers change, your pace changes. Your life begins to reflect the gravity of the love you've been entrusted with. God does not make mistakes. If he reveals someone to you, it's not an accident. That means they were sent. And you were sent too. Both of you are assignments to one another, not burdens. You were created to complement each other's calling, to bring balance where the other lacks, and to amplify what God has placed within. And you won't have to force it. That's the beauty of divine timing. What is yours will come with confirmation, not confusion. The right one will bring peace to your soul even when life is chaotic. They'll add clarity, not complexity. They draw you closer to God, not distract you from him. That's how you know. Not by how loud the world celebrates it, but by how still your spirit becomes in their presence. This shift will cause some people to fall away. That's okay. Revelation will always divide. It will separate the seasonal from the eternal, the familiar from the divine. Some won't understand your connection. Some will question it, criticize it, maybe even walk away from you because of it. But let them go. You weren't created for crowds. You were created for covenant. And when the day comes that this union is sealed, You'll look back and realize that every delay had a purpose. Every tear had a reason. Every lonely night was preparation. You'll see how God was never ignoring you. He was working behind the scenes, shaping you, preparing them, and aligning every detail to walk boldly into this season. Carry the revelation with humility and faith. Guard it, grow it, and give it to God daily, because what He's revealing is not just love, it's legacy. And once heaven speaks, earth must respond. The shift is already happening. All you have to do now is walk in it.